Will Anderson is almost universally considered to be an elite level prospect, but when I watch his tape, I just don't see the same player that everyone else seemingly sees. So in this video, I want to dive into exactly what I see, what I like about him, and what I don't like about him as a prospect, and what level of player I think he will be at the next level. And before you click off this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the content, and turn on the bell notifications to stay updated on my upcoming content. Anderson is at his best when he's lined up as a wide 9 tech, and his primary mode of winning is to attack the low hip of tackles, and his go-to move is his stab lift, where he's going to land inside with his inside hand and control the outside wrist or elbow with his outside hand to displace a tackle's punch and press open that outside gate. You see that on this play where he's going to force open the tackle's hips to win around the edge and flush the quarterback out of the pocket. On this next play against Texas A&M, you're going to see him close the distance on the edge, and as soon as the tackle fires his punch, he's going to control the elbows and lift them to displace the tackle's hands and then force open that outside gate to once again impact the quarterback in the pocket. On this final play against Darnell Wright, lined up as a wide 9 once again, he's going to attack that low hip, land inside with his inside hand, play underneath the tackle, and then displace the outside hand to free himself. And then you see the lean at the top of his rush to run the arc and affect the quarterback in the pocket. And while he's not the most bendy or a loose pass rusher, he does a great job getting his hips aligned to the quarterback and playing with good lean at the top of his rush. On this play against Arkansas, he's going to close the distance and then push off that inside foot to work outside on this cross chop. And then he's going to work his hook under the tackle on the rip to finish. And you see the lean he plays with around the edge to force the tackle to bend at his waist to try to keep his point of contact and just work around the arc, maintain his path through resistance and for the pressure. On this next play, he's on the right of your screen and he's going to flash that inside hand. We know he loves the stab lift, so he's going to flash to threaten with power on the outside half and then pull his hands to work his hook under the tackle on this rip move. And you see that lean to run the arc through resistance and win around the edge for the pressure. So far, I've detailed his ability to win around the edge, but when he has a runway and can build up speed, he's also shown the ability to win down the middle with power. On this one, he fires off the ball, lands inside on the tackle to drive him back and condense the pocket, and then escapes at the end for the pressure. On this play, he's on the left of your screen against Tennessee, and he's going to close the distance, and you see him give a hesitation to thread both halves of the tackle and then land inside on this two-hand bull to completely drive him back into the quarterback. And this play results in an interception largely due to his pressure. So far, I've shown the ability for him to win around the edge and to win down the middle with power when he has a runway, but he's also able to leverage that ability to counter. On this play against Texas on the right side of your screen, he's going to attack the low hip, the outside half of the tackle, and land inside. And once the tackle completely opens his hips to play parallel to the sideline, he's going to plant at the top of his rush and counter back inside on the swim. And he gets tripped up on this play by the guard, so he can't finish. But this is a really good rep. And on this next play, he's lined up as a 4-eye, and he's going to attack over the guard. And we're going to see him close the distance and give that hesitation we saw earlier to thread the inside half of the guard and then win back outside on the swim and get that hook under to finish on the rip and force the quarterback to step up in the pocket. This play results in a sack. So far in this video, I've only touched on his play as a pass rusher, but at this point in his career, he's actually more impressive as a run defender, and he's at his best when he's in backside pursuit. He displays great block recognition to key quickly on these plays and great closing speed to quickly crash down the line and make plays behind the line of scrimmage. He also does a really good job setting the edge in the run game. On this play against Arkansas, we see him get vertical, gain ground on the edge, and weaponize that length to separate, lock out, and single arm post while having his eyes in the backfield to read so he can make a play down the line of scrimmage. On this play against Texas A&M, he's on the left side of your screen, and we're going to see him once again get vertical, strike with good body angle violent hands to stand up the tackle on contact, get his eyes in the backfield to recognize the action, separate, and then shed back inside to make the stop. And he's also got great block recognition. On this play, he's on the backside of the zone run. We're going to see how quickly he reacts to the flow of the offensive line to strike and knock back the tight end, land inside with good hand placement, and then quickly shed, rip through, work down the line for the stop. And on this play, he's lined up as a 5 tech right over the right tackle. And we're going to see once again how quickly he reacts to blocks, to stack his block, stay on top, strike, play with good body angle, stand up his man, get eyes in the backfield, and completely slam this gap closed to clog up the run, and then escape at the end to join in on the stop. Now I want to get into my concerns with Anderson's game, and the first one is his false step. Oftentimes, well, essentially every time people talk about Will Anderson, they talk about his get off and his explosive first step. But on tape, on a play-by-play basis, the vast majority of his snaps, from a 2-point stance especially, he false steps, and his get off is actually mediocre to average on a lot of snaps. On this play against Texas, this play is 2nd and 14, pretty obvious passing down, and we're going to see him false step with his front foot, get tall, and then you see how limited his stride length is by the tightness in his hips, where he takes very short strides. He doesn't quickly close the distance between him and tackles, and when that's the case, when he doesn't quickly close that distance, he struggles to generate power because he doesn't play with good natural leverage. We see how upright he is at the top of his rush, how unloaded his hips are, and the tackle is able to control his pads and easily anchor down against his rush. Similar thing on this next play, where his pad level is just too tall, and once the tackle lands on his pads, you see how he gets completely stood up, stopped in his tracks, and doesn't really have an impact on this play. And on this next play against Darnell Wright, on the left side of your screen, once again you see the short strides where he doesn't take big steps to quickly close the distance, allowing the tackle to beat him to the landmark. And instead of attacking half a man, he's forced to attack the whole man, and the tackle is able to get his whole body in front of the rush. And then once Anderson lands inside, just no push, no pop on contact, and it's easily stood up as the tackle anchors. And on this last play, once again, you see the false step in his front foot, the short strides working vertically, takes some 4 steps to get within strike range. And then you see how Darnell Wright, who's 6'5", is easily able to out leverage Anderson, who's just too tall, too upright at this point in his rush, and is easily able to anchor, shut down that rush, completely stop him in his tracks, and he once again has no impact on this play. He also lacks nuance and power behind his hands as a pass rusher. On this play, he's on the left side of your screen, and he's going to close the distance versus the tackle and attempt to push off to work back outside. But you see how he just can't clear the tackle's outside hand, can't clear the hands on his double swipe attempt, allows the tackle to land on his pads, and once the tackle gets hands on him, there's no counter, the rush is dead in the water. On this next play, he's on the left side of your screen. He's going to attack the outside half of the tackle and give a slight stutter, jab inside to try to work back outside, but he doesn't beat the outside hand of the tackle, allows the tackle to land inside with his outside hand and completely knock him off his rush path. You see just a single punch and Anderson gets stood up and the rush is dead in the water. On this play, he's on the left side, he's on the right side of your screen, working off the edge. And once again, he allows the tackle to land on his pads. And then once the tackle does land, he gets completely stopped in his tracks, no counter, and the rush is dead. And this play is on the right side of your screen. He's going to get vertical, try to give that stutter that we saw in an earlier clip to try to work outside. But once again, he just doesn't clear the outside hand, allows the tackle to land on his pads, and gets completely knocked off his rush path by the punch and is forced to abandon his rush plan. on this play, he's on the left side of your screen, and he's going to attack vertically and just simply allow the tackle. He leaves his chest open and just allows the tackle to land clean on his pads. Doesn't beat the hands. And once again, no counter once the tackle lands. He also lacks the desired ankle flexibility for a sub 250-pound pass rusher. On this play against Texas, he's going to come in as a free rusher and have a direct path to the quarterback, but he's unable to get his inside foot planted and directed towards the quarterback to flatten and work back up into the pocket as the quarterback steps up, and can't stay on balance and simply slips. On this next play against Texas A&M, once again, he's going to have a direct line to the quarterback after beating the tight end, and on this inside step, he's just unable to get it pointed towards the quarterback to flatten, despite having his hips past both the tight end and the tackle. And you see, like I said, that toe is still pointing upfield. His hips are still pointing upfield. Can't get aligned to pursue and flatten. And instead of working around the arc, even though he has the advantage, he's forced to spin back. And the last issue with this game I want to touch on are the missed tackles. In his career at Alabama, he had a 19.3% career missed tackle rate. And I think largely that's due to his lack of ankle flexibility and the tightness in his hips, where on this play against Roschon Johnson in space, once Roschon plants and redirects, Anderson just doesn't have the lower body flexibility to plant and redirect, and slips and can't make the tackle. There are so many plays, too many plays on tape where Anderson is on the ground, he can't stay on balance, and he just slips too much. Overall, I just don't view Will Anderson as an elite level prospect. In my eyes, he's a jack of all trades, master of none. I think he's too small and doesn't have the natural leverage to be a dominant power rusher, and he just doesn't have the bend or lower body flexibility to be a consistent dominant speed rusher at the next level. And he also doesn't have the hands to be a technician and win in that way at the next level. I think he can do a little bit of everything, but he has no elite skill or avenue to consistently beat NFL tackles. I think he will be a really good run defender, and he's best suited to be a wide 9 or an outside linebacker in a 3-4, or he can play vertical, play in space, have that runway to build up power. Overall, like I said, I don't think he's close to Jalen Carter as a prospect, and I think there's a real possibility for me that he's not the top edge, because I think there are other guys in this class who just profile better to the next level. So Anderson's going to fall in the middle of the will become a good starter within 2 years tier for me. I recognize that I'm much lower on him than everyone else, but so the player I see on tape is the player I see.